Good evening, everyone. We'll try it again. I'll now call this chamber to order. Will everyone please rise if you can. Pledge allegiance to our flag and our nation. Remain standing to honor Alan Brodman, a resident and East Brunswick High School teacher who recently passed away. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Township Clerk, please call roll and then read our statement of adequate notice.
Councilmember Hall.
Here.
Councilman Wendell.
Here.
Councilwoman Winston.
Here.
Councilwoman Zimbicki.
Here.
And Council President McAvoy.
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen.
Here.
Administrator Joseph Criscuolo.
Here.
And Township Attorney Anthony Iacoca.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and the Asbury Park Press newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. Council, we have before us Resolution 25-175, adopting the meeting minutes from our April 28th meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And a second? We got
Second.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there a need for correction or clarification on these minutes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki.
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Council, we have a proclamation from the Mayor's office recognizing May as the month of May as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Councilwoman Winston, will you tend to this matter, please?
Thank you, Council President. It is my honor to read this proclamation for our community. Whereas the Township of East Brunswick takes pride in recognizing May 2025 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, celebrating the many notable contributions of Asian and Pacific Island Americans who have enriched our nation's history and are instrumental in its future successes. And whereas AAPI of East Brunswick, established on October 2023, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to fostering community outreach initiatives that elevate the AAPI experience through immersive and impactful enrichment activities. AAPI of East Brunswick is an active member of the East Brunswick Regional Chamber of Commerce and the East Brunswick Cricket Club. They co-hosted the 2025 East Brunswick Lunar New Year celebration, which welcomed over 1,900 attendees. And whereas individuals of Asian and Pacific Islander descent make up approximately 28.1% of East Brunswick's population and contribute meaningfully to the township through their leadership, creativity, enterprise, and skills. East Brunswick remains committed to embracing and supporting residents of all backgrounds. And whereas the theme for this year's AAPI Heritage Month is A Legacy of Leadership and Resilience, honoring the trailblazing contributions of AAPI leaders who have laid the foundation for future generations to thrive, adapt, and continue advancing diversity and inclusion. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Brad J. Cohen, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, along with the Township Council, do hereby extend our heartfelt appreciation to AAPI of East Brunswick for their dedication and service to the community, and proclaim May 2025 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the Township of East Brunswick. We encourage all residents to take time to learn more about the culture, people, traditions, and values that have so positively enriched our community. Given under my hand this great seal of the Township of East Brunswick this 12th day of May in the year 2025, Mayor Brad J. Cohen.
Yeah, does anyone want to talk? Who's receiving?
Would anyone like to speak?
There we go. No, please. Please.
Oh, thank you. Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Maria Katrina Ang. I'm the president of AAPI of East Brunswick. We're also known as APITA Alliance. I'm the class of 2004. I had Mr. Bodman for history, so he was so impactful for me, so may he rest in peace. So we are just so proud and so grateful to really be here today and really be a part of this community that celebrates diversity and inclusion. And we just think it's so important for people to feel like they belong and for there to be visibility. And I believe I really want to thank the council and everyone here today, and our friends who couldn't be here today. You know, you can't be at two places at once, and they sent us good energy, then they really wanted to be here too. To be here and celebrate this and explicitly recognize the AAPI contributions to our community, our AAPI contributions to history, and what we can continue to bring to the table. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of our collective journey.
Anyone else?
Can we have everyone who is either
Mr. Lee Woo-hong.
AAPI or part of the...
Do you want to speak? Lee Woo.
Good evening, Council President, Mayor Brad. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry. So good evening, Council President, Mayor Brad. Thank you very much for this special event. I really appreciate you guys' action to honor the AAPI month. So first Lunar New Year celebration was 1871 in North Jersey. That group of people came from West Coast after they finished the Transcontinental Railroad, which was finished in 1869. When that group of people moved to East Coast, they took the train to Boston, and they were not allowed to come off the train. And they were stoned by a group of people. And then they moved back to Jersey, and then they sat down in Belleville, New Jersey. There they celebrate first documented Chinese New Year, you know. And this thing happened, nobody knows that until the Hurricane Sandy. That church was destroyed. When they cleaned up the basement, they found of the human remains packed in different jars. And then one person, his name is Mike Brown, he did the search and found out, you know what, those people actually from our sister city, Jiangmen, China. But those people, they stayed there, they couldn't go back to China, and they were not allowed to be buried outside. So that's why they got in the basement, in the all kind of jars. They wish to be sent back someday in future, but they never get it. And in 1982, a gentleman named Vincent Chen, because of the Japan automaker beat the U.S. automaker, he looks like he Japanese, so he was killed in 1982. And so that's why it's very important for this community, for this country to realize how important accepting each other, respect each other, because we are all one country, and very important, we are one East Brunswick. That is extremely important. And I understand this town council has very limited jurisdiction, but your action means a lot to this community. You know, if we can respect, we really accept each other, this really, we don't have to celebrate so-called AAPI month. Every month, every day is the same. We just like it, our community is one community. Everyone love each other, everyone help each other, everyone respect each other. That's maybe that is my dream. Thank you very much, Mayor and President.
Hello, everyone. I'll keep my remarks very brief, very quick. My name is Leanne. I'm from the office of Senator Andy Kim. He has two offices, but I'm from the North Jersey one. Nonetheless, the senator is very honored and delighted to have received an invitation from both AAPI. Ronnie, special shout out to you. Thank you for connecting and bringing the warm invitation. Council, thank you so much for all the work and the contribution to uplift such organizations. Senator Kim recognizes all the work that you guys do to support these communities. And lastly, AAPI of East Brunswick, you guys are doing such amazing work to support these important demographics, and Senator Kim recognizes that, and he wants to, one, congratulate you, but he's in awe of the work that you guys do. He couldn't be where he is without people like you, the work that you do. So I have come to give a certificate of recognition for AAPI of East Brunswick. We want to once again congratulate you guys and congratulate East Brunswick to have such a great organization to uplift these voices. And Senator Kim encourages to keep the good fight in whatever way that he can help and support that. We're here. So thank you all right, and congratulations.
Would anyone else like to address council? Okay, how about a photo with all AAPI personnel and town council? Hang on. I'm still not set. Okay? Now we are. Are we set? Now we are. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You know what, I think you did, because I heard, I was like, ooh. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. How beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Don't feel as if you have to stay, okay? When you're comfortable, please. Unless you want to see an excellent, the governance in operation. Anyway, Council, we have another proclamation from the mayor recognizing May as National Water Safety Awareness Month. Councilwoman Zambicki, will you tend to this matter, please?
Thank you.
No Bobby Boucher reference.
Can I ask our amazing manager, John Roche, to come up with me? Thank you, John.
You. Not you.
All right, this is a proclamation in honor of National Water Safety Month. Whereas the Township of East Brunswick recognizes the vital role that swimming and aquatic-related activities relate to good physical and mental health and enhance the quality of life for all people. And whereas the residents understand the essential role that education regarding the topic of water safety plays in preventing drownings and recreation water-related injuries. And whereas the residents are aware of the contributions by the recreational water industry, including work done by the New Jersey Recreation and Parks Association and the New Jersey Swim Safety Alliance in the development of safe swimming facilities, aquatic programs, home pools and spas, and related activities, providing healthy places to recreate, learn, grow, build self-esteem, confidence, sense of self-worth, all which contribute to the quality of life in our community. Whereas it's important to recognize the ongoing efforts and commitments to educate the public on pool and spa safety issues and initiatives by the pool, spa, water park, recreation, and park industries. Whereas it is vitally important to communicate water safety roles and programs to families and individuals of all ages, whether owners of private pools, users of public swimming facilities, or visitors to our water parks. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Brad J. Cohen, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, along with the Township Council and the Township Recreation and Parks Department, do hereby declare the month of May as the National Water Safety Month and do urge residents of East Brunswick to support and promote this observance. Given under my hand and the Great Seal of the Township of East Brunswick on this 12th day of May in the year 2025, Mayor Brad J. Cohen. And I just want to thank, May, our wonderful Crystal Springs opens this month, 12 days. And I know you've been doing amazing work behind the scenes that people often don't realize in preparing the park, making it safe, training, intensive training, and our very own training this year, which is so amazing. So we thank you very much for everything you do. So please.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Council President McAvoy, members of the Township Council, Mayor Cohen, for your support in recognizing May as National Water Safety Month. The past 2 years, you may or may not know it, but East Brunswick has played a pivotal role in water safety in our state. We hosted not only one, but two Garden State Water Safety Summits the past 2 Decembers, where we gathered aquatics professionals from across New Jersey in the hopes to developing and releasing the New Jersey Water Safety Strategy. Our hope is in the next month and a half to 2 months that will be released, and we will be the 3rd state in the union to do that following the National Water Safety Strategy that was released a couple years ago. Our overall goal is to reduce drowning in our state by 30% by 2030. Every year we have about 30 individuals that lose their life to drowning in our state in all types of water. And the goal is collectively through education to help reduce that as best we can. There are many ways that we can do this, but first and foremost is to educate the public. The township is committed to ensuring that our residents and non-residents alike have the ability to learn about water safety and equip themselves with knowledge to not only keep themselves, but those they love safe around water. I invite everyone to check out the township's water safety webpage by going to eastbrunswick.org/watersafety. We have online activities, videos, certification classes, graphics, vacation checklists for you to take if you're figuring out where to go on vacation with your family. We also have 2 major efforts underway in East Brunswick that I invite everyone to participate in. The first is we will once again be participating in the New Jersey Recreation and Park Association, New Jersey Swim Safety Alliance bathing suit drive. We are accepting new donations of bathing suits in children's sizes at Recreation and at Crystal Springs. Whenever they are open, you are free to drop them off. These bathing suits will be donated free of charge to residents throughout the state of New Jersey who do not have access or the means to be able to purchase a bathing suit. We truly believe in NJRPA and NJSSA that bathing suits lead to swim lessons and swim lessons can save lives. And the number of children in our state who don't have access to them because of bathing suit is something we're trying to improve. And second, East Brunswick will be participating, I think for our 5th or 6th year, in the world's largest swimming lesson. That's happening on Thursday, June 26th. It is a free 30-minute water safety swim lesson at Crystal Springs. It will be happening at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 7 p.m. It's a free 30-minute lesson. We encourage you to pre-register, and if you participate, you get a certificate because it continues to break world record year after year. We gather with water parks across not only the United States, but around the world in participating in the world's largest swim lesson. So Council, I thank you for your continued support of what we do for water safety.
Mayor?
First of all, John, thank you. I know what you're doing and the effort that you put into trying to make sure that water safety is a priority here in the township. That's something that's always been a priority for the township, but I do feel obligated to remind people that a couple of years ago, we did have a year of disasters. If you say there's 30 in a year, we had 6 drownings in East Brunswick in 1 year. There was an individual who had moved into a home. Their daughter jumped into a pool, didn't know how to swim. The mother went in to try to save her. She didn't know how to swim. And the grandfather went in to save the 2 of them, and he didn't know how to swim. All 3 perished. We lost somebody here out at the pond, despite having been told not to go onto a pond in the winter, that in this winter's, in our region don't really freeze, but they did it anyway. Unfortunately, one 13-year-old lost his life drowning here in the municipal pond. There was an individual, I think a 4 or 5-year-old boy that was at a party and left the crowd, and by the time the parents and everyone else realized where he was at the bottom of a pool and gone. And then finally we lost one over at Crystal Springs a couple of seasons ago. So these things happen. And we made a conscious effort at that time to step up our game and to make sure that we offer these lessons to both children and adults. It is just a skill that everybody should have. And so I applaud the department for taking that seriously. The fact that we're now recognized as a leader in the state for something that's so vital and critical, you deserve credit for that. And I thank you. And I want and hope that anybody in the township that does not have swimming skills take advantage of what you have right here, because it really is a skill that everybody should have. So thank you.
Council, we have 3 ordinances for a second reading and a public hearing. Township Clerk, will you please read ordinance 25-18?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, establishing new chapter 65 of the Township Code entitled Motels and Hotels Operations.
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
May I open this to the general public for any discussion? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Have a roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Township Clerk, please read ordinance 25-19.
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, established in Chapter 122 of the Township Code entitled Body Art Establishments.
May I have a motion?
approve.
And a second?
Second.
I'll open this to the public. Anyone wishing to speak from the public regarding 25-19? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. And our third and final ordinance, Township Clerk, will you please read ordinance 25-20?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Township Code, Chapter 109, Article 1, Retail Establishments.
I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
And second, thank you. We'll open this up to the public. Seeing no one on the public portion, I'll close the public portion and roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Council, we will move on to our reports section of the meeting. Mayor Cohen?
Thank you, Council President. A couple of announcements. One, I'd like to remind everybody that it's National Police Appreciation Week. So when you see them, Lieutenant Boble in the back and his entire staff of officers under which we derive our safety and security, just say thank you. I appreciate that. Two, I did want to give the public an update. I know I've been doing that regularly on the affordable housing issues that we've been facing with the court system. As I left it off last time, we were forced by the courts to accept a number of 296 affordable housing units that was signed off by Judge McCluskey. And the township, in light of the fact that we were looking to have that number reduced and had been told by the Department of Community Affairs that they agreed with our request for a lower number, we had prepared or were working on preparing a list of where those places could go that would have been able to accommodate the 265 that we thought the courts would agree to. As you know, the Builders Association sued. The courts ultimately agreed on the 296. So the request from the township was to be given a 3-month extension from the June date that was due for us to provide to the state where those units would be located. That was denied. So if anybody thinks, as they sit there on their little computers and screaming about affordable housing or any of the work that needs to be done in the township, that the idea of us fighting and winning a case to not do affordable housing, not do the number of affordable housing, would ever hold water when the court won't even give us a 3-month extension on when to provide that list, must be smoking something. So we, I believe, are going to come up with a list of where 296 units are going to need to be placed by the June date, which is our court-required timeframe under which we have to provide that. And you will be hearing about that shortly because that approval is dependent upon your vote. So just wanted you to know what is coming up down the road. Number 3, just wanted to announce that it was made aware to the public that the state health benefits plan, the plan under which most state and local government employees get their health insurance, is going up 30% this year, 30%. That's following a couple of years of double-digit increases that the state health benefits has been putting through for the last couple of years. As most of you know, we do not use the state health benefits program here in the township and haven't used it For a very long time, we use a broker and we are self-insured. Our average increase rates over the last 8 years has been 2.6 to 2.7%. So I just wanted to keep the public aware that, that your township is doing an extraordinarily good job trying to keep control of costs that clearly are out of control. The other thing I wanted to bring up, and I did put this out in social media, the township has also made mention of it, is the fact that we did get certification from the Department of the New Jersey EDA and the Film Commission that East Brunswick is now considered to be a film-ready town. That was something that we've been working on actually for quite some time, but we got caught in the middle of a change of management of this process, which used to be a film commission controlled process. It's now controlled by the EDA. So we had to take a couple of steps back while they were making that change. But that basically means that we have and are willing to accept and have ordinances in place that you've adopted that will allow the film industry to undergo and be able to work with a standardized process that allows us to bring films here. And that becomes an economic driver, besides being cool, but it's an economic driver. It brings in businesses for our hotels and for our businesses and our restaurants. So I think it would be a huge boom if we can get some of that business here. I know you, Council President, had mentioned, and we did a moment of silence for Mr. Broadman. Again, another individual in this township who's worked for our top-notch school district for decades. As many of you know, he's had such an impact on so many students through the IPPL program and Model UN, and only retired about 5 years ago. But he will be surely missed. Most people could probably recall a teacher in their life that made that much of a difference. At his funeral this week, if I had asked anybody in the synagogue to stand who had been a student, it was standing room only, and it probably would have been 3/4 of the room. So it was a phenomenal turnout for a really well-respected teacher here in the school system. And then finally, I just wanted to make a comment. As everybody knows, Dr. Valesky announced at the last Board of Education meeting that he was going to be stepping down in February of 2026. I just wanted everybody to know that I did call him the next day and wished him well as he looks forward to whatever his next chapter in life is going to be. And I don't believe that it is any time for anybody to be gloating or high-fiving. This is a person who's contributed a decade of service to the township. And our attention at this point should really be directed at finding a new educational leader for a township where its DNA is centered around our top-tier public school system. As many of you know, New Jersey was recently determined to be the #1 public school system in the entire country. So I believe with that it's time to invest and support the Board of Education, which will be the body of people that are tasked with finding a new leader. They should do this by themselves, the 9, with input from our community on what we would like to see in a new leader. And I think they should cast that net very wide. They need to find somebody who is innovative, willing to try new things, not be afraid to fail, to focus on leading us into a direction that could provide us with a top-notch 21st century public education system for our children. I believe that they deserve that. That's what people move here for. I do not believe there's anybody on the inside that should get that role. I think we should be looking very far and wide. There's tools that exist for the board to take advantage of. This is not the first time a Board of Education has had to do this. School boards provides help. They should make themselves, avail themselves of that. But I just want everyone to know that I believe this council all stands ready to help and support the Board of Education, which is their task in this most important task, and that I wish all of them success, because at the end of the day, their success is our success. So I, again, wish Dr. Valesky the best in his retirement or whatever he does in his next chapter in life. Thank you.
Our Business Administrator, Mr. Criscuolo.
Yes, just mention one item, reminder to people that our Memorial Day service will be on the 25th at 10 a.m. and encourage people to come to that particular ceremony because our next council meeting is after that. So I just want to remind people. That's all I have today.
Thank you. Our Township Attorney, Mr. Iacocca.
Thank you, Council President. One item for the public's information, bond ordinance number 25-21 with regard to school capital improvements. Funding will be, the second reading will be held on May 29th, the council meeting. That's a Thursday. Okay? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Our Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful.
I just want to inform the public that the 2025 primary election will be held on Tuesday, June 10th. For those who are not registered to vote, the last day to do so will be Tuesday, May 20th. The Middlesex County Board of Elections office will be open until 9 p.m. that day to accept all new applications. That address will be 26B Kennedy Boulevard here in East Brunswick. Also, for those who have received their mail-in ballots, as a friendly reminder, there are 3 ways to return your ballot. You can submit it via mail through the U.S. Postal Service at no cost to you whatsoever. You can also drop it off at the Board of Elections. Once again, their address is 26B Kennedy Boulevard here in East Brunswick. Or you can conveniently utilize our ballot drop box, which is located within our municipal complex by the municipal court and the police station parking lot. Also, early voting will begin on Tuesday, June 3rd through Sunday, June 8th at our next council meeting, which will be held on Thursday, May 29th. I will provide additional information. Thank you all.
Council members, any board or commission reports? Yes,
Thank you.
take your time.
So Recreation and Parks report. So first of all, the Fishing Derby, the annual Fishing Derby, will be held on June 7th at Dallenbach's Lake from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. The Arts Commission is sponsoring a guitar barbecue event on May 17th from 11 to 3 p.m. And very importantly, camp registration for this year ends June 6th. So if you're interested in getting your children involved in camp, you have until June 6th to do that. As Mr. Roach spoke earlier today, they are doing the bathing suit and also goggle drive, and you can drop that off through July at the rec department or at Crystal Springs. And I also wanted to say one small comment about Alan Broadman, that he was a community servant as well, and he did spend many years on the Recreation, Parks, and Advisory Board, giving his input. So he will be deeply missed. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
we're good?
Yep.
Okay, I'll now open the meeting to the public. To comment, Ms. Lawful, please read our public comment statement.
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond.
Is there anyone wishing to address the council president? Please.
Hello, my name is Hannah McGall, Mason Avenue, Main Street, Old Stage. As you all know, I'm here to ask the council to once again dismantle the sister city relationship that we have with Yevne, which is an Israeli city. All across the country and the globe, you see cities, universities, and trade unions, as well as the Pope, calling for an immediate ceasefire and divesting from Israel. And here we are stuck in this notion that the sister city relationship, it does not have any implications and it's merely symbolic. I ask you today, symbolic of what exactly? Symbolic of the drones that are designed and manufactured in Yevne that annihilate humans not only in Palestine but also in Pakistan, where these same drones were utilized just last week by India to terrorize villages in occupied Kashmir. Is this what we want East Brunswick to symbolize in history books? Mr. McAvoy, someone just previously acknowledged how much of an impact you had made as a history teacher for them. And as someone with a teaching degree myself, I ask you, would this be a chapter in books you were proud to teach about, or would it be a chapter you'd want to gloss over as quickly as possible to hide our country and our town's shame that we did not learn from the genocide that was carried out in the name of Manifest Destiny, but instead continued to commit genocide after genocide throughout the history of our country, throughout the history of our existence as a country? Let us today, once and for all, understand that that Sister City plaque that we so proudly display in the entrance of our municipal building is actually a shame on our character as a community, and we absolutely have the power to ensure we choose the side of not of evil, but of goodness and peace and for all. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the council president? Please.
Nawal Tufel, Tall Oaks Drive, East Brunswick. So, Mr. McAvoy, in last meeting, you made a comment that this is the public speaking portion and people are just here to make a comment. But I have been coming into these meetings every time with something that you can do. It's just not mere statements. This is not an outlet for me to make statements. And the reason I come here is the same thing, that we have a sister city with Israeli city, and in the midst of a genocide or a Holocaust, actually, it's a shameful thing to have. Every day, we are witnessing what can only be described as Holocaust of Palestinians. According to international human rights organizations and UN agencies, the Israeli military campaign in Gaza has led to the death of over 15,000 children as of recent estimates. 15,000 children. I just want you to imagine, Israel has killed 15,000 children. That's like the classrooms, playgrounds, entire generations wiped out. And this is not collateral damage. These are deliberate consequences of policies that violate international law and basic moral decency. So what we are seeing is not simply war, it is the systematic destruction of civilian life by Israel. Entire families are being, entire families are burned alive by Israel, and they are now under rubble due to Israeli bombings. Hospitals are bombed, refugee camps are attacked. Israel is the only city, I think, only country in the world, I think, that is bombing the tents where people are refugees. They are bombing the tent with families and children. And now the famine is being used as a weapon of war by Israel. The United Nations and multiple aid agencies have warned that Israel is imposing a policy of forced starvation. Humanitarian convoys are blocked and workers are killed and food distribution networks have been destroyed. We have seen multiple videos and pictures of people standing in line in food distribution center when Israel bombed them and killed them. Children with piece of bread in their hand are being killed by Israel. So as a city that prides itself as justice, inclusion, and human dignity, we have a responsibility to raise our voices. While this chamber, I completely understand, there are things that you can do. You can pass resolutions demanding a ceasefire, calling for the restoration of humanitarian aid, and denouncing the collective punishment of civilians and any sort of relationship with Israel, including the sisterhood city, which is absolutely shameful at this point. We can also take tangible actions, whether it's divesting from companies that profit from occupation and warfare, or declaring our city as a sanctuary for peace, for accountability, and for international law. Mr. McAvoy, when history will ask what we did when we knew, let us not be remembered for our silence. If you ever, or if anyone sitting in this chamber ever wondered what they would have done at the time of first Holocaust, because second one is happening right now, at the time of civil rights movement, or any other movement of human rights, this is exactly what you would have done if you were at that time. Thank you so much.
Anyone else wishing to address the council president? Mr. Ingrasini?
Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. President, Tom Ingrasani, Deerfield Road, East Brunswick. I noticed, I called up last week about brown water that everybody was getting on my block and whatever. They told me they were draining fire hydrants, so I assumed that was the problem. And I noticed a lot of water behind me. I have a drainage easement right behind my house that the water was running into. You know, it was dirty. I thought it was a major leak or something, but anyway, that's a drainage easement. When it rains, it fills up there with water, and then it goes into the sewer. Now, another thing in my backyard, I have these big trees that overhang my property. Is there any way that could be trimmed to avoid anything falling? Because about 7 years ago, lightning hit one of them, come into my backyard, destroyed my table, just missed my shed, and I had to pay about $1,000 to have it removed. Is there any way that the township could see that these things are trimmed, or is it my responsibility? You know, because it's not on my property. And the other thing, one other thing too, I find out, I think June, I think all the utilities are gonna start to raise their rates 20%, electric and gas. Is that true? I mean, I'm hearing that.
Mayor, did you make a comment on 30%? I think your mic, sir.
Sorry. As far as the tree, if it's a township tree, contact the township and we'll take a look at it. If it's somebody else's tree, that's a neighbor-to-neighbor dispute, so you would have to take that up with your neighbor. As far as the what was the other question?
20% on the
The understanding
increase?
is that the BPU has been asked by the energy companies to raise the rates 20%, and then another 30% a couple months, another 10% a couple months later, so it'll be almost 30% increase. It's up to the BPU to determine whether or not they're going to approve that, but if they do, then yes, they will be going
Because
up.
it's been approved. So if your bill is $300 a month, you're gonna pay another $60 more a month just on the same electricity. And, I mean, it's even in PSE&G, and then there's also Jersey Central Power Light is doing
Well,
it.
the BPU is for all the companies, so if it's approved, it would be for everybody.
All right. As far as that property behind me is all easement. I don't know who owns it. I think it's,
If trees are overhanging your property, you can cut the trees, I'm sorry.
Right.
I know,
If they're overhanging your property, you can cut the trees
at my expense.
at your expense.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay.
That's right.
All right, that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to address the council president? Seeing no one, we'll close the public portion. Move on to our consent agenda. Will Township Clerk please read our consent agenda statement?
Resolution 25-176 through Resolution 25-190. The following items are considered routine and non-controversial items by the Township Council and will be enacted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on following the approval of the remaining items listed on the consent agenda.
Council, does anything need to be separated?
No, can I just ask a question on this?
Sure.
Basically, Mr. Crisculo, 25-186, award of a contract to Xylem Incorporated for the purchase of a Godwin dry prime trailer mounted pump. Is that being paid for by the sewage utility?
Yes, it's,
Okay.
part of it is water, most of it is sewer, but part of it is water.
Okay,
because they
just want to make
share-
sure the utilities
They share
were
equipment.
covering the expense
They
of that.
certainly are. And Council President, just some notations there. Resolution 25-187, the paving of Village Drive, that's our TTF project. So $368,664 is a state grant.
State money.
So we're saving money on that. The remainder is on us. 24-188 is reimbursement for the shredded event, which we hosted and the county reimburses us. And 24-189 is because we approved our budget already, where this is just an insertion of $64,300.43. Don't forget the 43 cents is a grant that we're receiving from the state for recycling enhancement. So just wanted to make note that we're always looking for grants to defray the costs from our taxpayers.
Thank you. May I have a motion for Resolution 176 through 190?
So moved.
Second. And before we vote, let me bring to your attention Mr. Jeff Smith, who's sitting out in the audience with us. He's going to be the newest member to the zoning board and wanted to follow through on the true governance of East Brunswick by being here. Oftentimes, Mr. Smith, it's just, we just vote on the people who take over or become part of various boards. So we applaud you for coming here this evening. For the council, just want you to know that Mr. Smith was born, raised here in East Brunswick. He too was a student of Mr. Brodman. He's married, father of 2 children, and eager to give back to our community. So welcome, Mr. Smith. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. It's official, Mr. Smith. Council, we have 3 ordinances for introduction. Township Clerk, can you please read ordinance 25-22?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 209, Section 65, entitled Schedule 26, Mid-Block Crossings
2.
of the Code of the Township of East Brunswick to add a mid-block crosswalk designation on Kingswood Boulevard.
Mr. Crisculo, any comments?
Yeah, over at Kingswood Boulevard, a lot of people walk there. There's also a pool there. So we had the request from the association to do a couple of mid-block crosswalks. Our engineer, in-house engineer, evaluated and certainly made sense. So we're actually putting the curb cuts in now, and we're getting ready to pave, as you know, hot and heavy as soon as school gets out. This is just to, authorize the issuance of this mid-block crosswalk. It was by the request of the association and the people of that community, and it does make sense because they were walking there anyway.
Thank you. We have 2 ordinances, not 3.
A motion.
Can we get a motion for this? Thank you, Councilman. A second? Second, Councilwoman Winston. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes, Township Clerk, can you read ordinance 25-23?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 228, zoning to add regulations for feather flag signs to the Township Code of the Township of East Brunswick.
And once again, Mayor Cohen, you wanted to comment
Yes,
on
you
that one? Right, as we talked the other
Yeah,
morning.
as many of you know, you often see around the township these feather flag signs, and we had on our ordinances not allowed them, which when asked what the reason was for, we just didn't have any rules on how they're supposed to be secured, how long they could be kept in place, and so we just didn't allow them. What ended up happening is that so many people used them anyway, didn't even know that we had an ordinance for that because almost every other town allows it. And so it put us in the predicament of looking like we were favoring some businesses and not others because our code enforcement couldn't possibly go out to all the places that had feather flag signs. So we decided instead of just sending everybody notices and having them end up here, let's look now at the reason why we didn't allow it and make for an ordinance that would allow for the things that our engineering department was concerned about, meaning that they're secured enough that the wind blows, it doesn't just end up all over town. There's a limited period of time that it could be put out for. And so if you read through the ordinance, this is what the recommendations was of the department, taking into consideration their issues. But I think that most of us have no issue with the feather flag signs, as long as they're not unsightly, doesn't get in the way of traffic safety for individuals. But there's a lot of businesses in town that often use it because you don't really know where they are, or they're set back. And these are the only way that somebody knows that they're there or that they're a new store. So that's why the ordinance was put in place.
Council comments? Roll call, please. Did we motion? You didn't motion, I'm sorry. Thank you, Councilman Wendell. Motion?
Second.
And a second, thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Is there anything for the good of the cause? Since there were a couple of mentions already, I'm going to do my mention too.
Council President.
Oh,
It's okay, I can go next.
okay, I'll be quick.
I just wanted to commend everyone in the process of the grant acquisitions. It's amazing that year after year I sit up here and all these ordinances come through and we're looking at the money and it's half was a grant. Half was a grant for this, half was a grant for that, and that's money saved for our taxpayers, and I just think that needs to be recognized and applauded.
Thank you.
There's one other on there. The CME contract also is a grant. I missed that one.
Another one.
Sorry.
This week is National Police Week, where we honor our enforcement officers for protecting and serving our communities. Kudos to Chief Frank Lasaka and his entire command staff for their meritorious service. Motion to adjourn, please signify with an aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Good night.